Hi, this is Neil Gordon. I'm the CEO at the Discovery Museums, and this is On the Bright Side. On the Bright Side is a production of the Acton Boxborough United Way, and those of us at the Discovery Museum are helping out a little bit. So today we're really fortunate to have with us Donna Batari, who is the co-director and treasurer of the Acton Food Pantry. The Acton Food Pantry was started 36 years ago to alleviate hunger among people living in Acton and its adjacent towns. And the food pantry is located at 235 Summer Road in Boxborough. Donna, welcome to On the Bright Side. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Neil, for inviting me, and United Way also for doing these videos.
So Donna, maybe you could tell me a little bit about how long and how you got involved with the food pantry.
I've been involved with the food pantry for about 15 years. My daughter and I were looking for a community service project to do for a scout badge she was working on. And we found the food pantry needed volunteers and was taking families to do sorting on the weekends. And we took that on once a month in the beginning. And I enjoyed it so much that I kept asking, well, what happens next? And what else do you need help with? So I just kept taking on a larger role within the organization, and eventually in 2012 became a staff member.
You stick around and they keep giving you more to do.
That's right.
So prior to the pandemic, how did the food pantry operate, and how has that changed?
Prior to the pandemic, we were a complete client choice food pantry where we would have people come in who are in need of food. We would sit down with them the first time they come, fill out some registration paperwork with them, get to know them a little bit. And then we would have a volunteer go one-on-one with that person through our pantry. It became somewhat of a social environment for them. They would see friends they knew and things like that there. So it all went pretty smoothly, but it was definitely close contact. So when the pandemic hit, we knew right away things would have to change. So we had to find a way to make the pantry work outside with fewer volunteers. So luckily, the team we have was all willing to just jump in and do the best we could. Now it's a totally outside, no touch operation where a volunteer will go out to the car with a shopping list, and each will write down the person's name, how many people in their household, and then ask the person, do you want this? And they can say yes or no, so they still get a choice of what items they want, but we still have the variety of items. So a lot of changes, wearing masks, wearing gloves, sanitizing things, all of that, making sure things aren't touched by too many people, that donations sit for a few days. So a lot of changes.
Sounds like you've done an incredibly good job in adapting, and I know there's been part of the adaptation for folks is more collaboration among the different groups and agencies that are involved in food security. I know that with the United Way's help, the Food Securities Task Force has been formed. Can you tell me a little bit about the task force and what the pantry's involvement has been, and any particular examples of how it's helped?
Definitely. The task force was put together by United Way right at the very beginning of the pandemic. It was one of the first changes that we made, was becoming part of that, where it's a weekly meeting between social workers, the schools, the senior center, churches. So it's a big group of people that are all interested in being sure that the people who need food are able to get the food that they want, and that they know about what's out there and available for them to partake of. So it's been a great resource. At the very beginning, we were getting a lot of phone calls at the food pantry from people wanting to know how could they help. But it was taking us away from trying to do what we needed to do to keep the pantry running. So the task force heard that and immediately decided to put us in touch with Neighbor Brigade so that we could just funnel volunteers to Neighbor Brigade, and then those volunteers could find ways to help people through Neighbor Brigade rather than calling us and having us to answer all those questions.
So Donna, do you imagine that the task force will keep going? And it sounds like if people want to volunteer, they can do that through the Neighbor Brigade. if people wanted to contribute to the Acton Food Pantry, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, that's an easy one. They can go to our website, www.actonfoodpantry.org.
Great. I hope people will do that. Donna, I know these are been challenging times. We've been hearing lots of sort of inspiring stories of things that have happened, sort of the bright side of these challenging times. Is there been anything in particular that you've seen or heard that has inspired you?
The main thing that's been inspiring through all of this is to see how much people in our community want to help those who need help. It was immediately obvious, and it's been obvious in so many ways. People are offering to volunteer. They've stepped up with donations, food donations, toilet paper donations when toilet paper was hard to get, financial donations, all of those. The response from the community has been just so amazing and so overwhelming. It's just great to see that the circle of support for the food pantry has really expanded through this crisis. Our name is out there and people are using us to help others, which has been wonderful.
Well, Donna, the work that you and all the folks at the food pantry do is certainly deserving of that level of outpouring of support. So thank you for all the work that you've done, and thank everybody else at the food pantry, from all of us here in the community, for your hard work, and good luck to you. So
Thank you, Neil.
that's it for today on The Bright Side. Thank you.